Hey guys, it's been a long while since I've done a video, straight up video. I've been doing so many live streams and whatnot out here in the shop. But today I'm going to do a kind of an instructional video and I guess kind of a learning video for myself. I've got a new part for the Inco mill. I'll show you that. That's my Inco mill. And you probably saw the ladder sitting in front of the milling machine. Well, that's because my milling machine sits on about a 6-inch pallet, and to reach the top of the mill machine, I have to climb up the ladder. Which means every time that I do a tool change, I have to drag the ladder out, climb up, and loosen the drawbar up, hit it with a hammer, hold the part, all while balancing on this ladder. And the missus, she wasn't real crazy about that idea. You know, I'm not 20 anymore. So the older I get, the more careful I get, and I try to be as safe as I can out in the shop. So I ran across a video the other day of a guy, and he had purchased a power drawbar, and I'd not seen that before. Maybe that's old technology, maybe it's, I don't even know, but I didn't have that. And when I saw that, I thought, man, there's the answer to getting rid of this ladder, so I don't have to climb up and down it. So I got online, researched it, and I really liked the design of the one that he bought. So I got in touch with the company that sells the product. Talked to a guy named Daniel, real super nice guy. He helped me out a ton. I very much appreciate it. So Daniel, if you run across this video, shout out to you. But at any rate, the box came in today. I ordered it Monday. Today is Thursday. So 3 days travel time. So I'm pretty happy with that too. I've got the box right here in front of me. The tool is a TorqueRite, and I bought it. The company I bought it from is All Machine Parts Incorporated, and great company to deal with. So far, I've had great luck with them. You guys that saw the last video of the power Z-axis for the knee table, or for the knee and the table, that didn't go as planned. That was a universal kit, and I pretty much had to machine, manufacture, redesign pretty much every part to the kit to make it work on my milling machine. But at any rate, it's working good now. I'm very happy with that. It's a little slower than I thought it would be, but it works pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So, first off, what I'm changing is the drawbar. And what the drawbar is, this is the drawbar. And the way it works, it goes into the top of the machine, like so. And then I have a wrench with a hammer built onto it. And this is how I tighten it and loosen it. So once I get it loose, I take the hammer, hit it on the top, and that pushes the drawbar down and releases the tool that's in the quill of the mill. And the reason I wanted to get this drawbar set up is because when I'm on a ladder and I'm holding this, or a tool like this, in the quill, and I've got my other arm elevated like this, the ladder's very rickety. So I bought this system to where all I have to do is, number one, I can get rid of the ladder, and number two, whenever I go to change tools, all I have to do is push a button and it'll retract the tool, pick up another tool, insert it into the quill, push another button, and it'll pull it up into the quill for me. So it saves a whole lot of time. It's a lot safer for me. I'm incident prone anyway, so I probably shouldn't be climbing up a ladder out here in the shop. You know, everything's got a sharp angle on it, and if I fall, that's not going to be good. So let me set this stuff to the side, and we'll go ahead and open this box and see what all's in here. What I'll do is I'll set the box to the side. The packing looks like they did a pretty good job on that. Nice form-fitted styrofoam to fit all the parts. The first thing I come out is the drawbar itself. And my machine wasn't listed on their website, so I had to fill out a spec sheet to have a drawbar built. I'm assuming most machinery is going to be that way. So looking at the drawbar, I do see some differences between theirs and mine. I'm not really concerned at this point about that, so I'll continue on. I'm mostly worried about this shim. My drawbar does not have this shim. Also, I'm worried about this piece on the end, this turn down piece, the step, if you will, because my step has a little brass bushing on the end where this one does not. So, as it was with the Power Z feed, it's not going to surprise me if there is a little bit of machine work on this, but I wouldn't have it any other way. That's just the way it works for me. Anyway, let's see what else is in the box. Got the instruction manual. Got the little air regulator. Got a little tube of air tool oil. This is the push button apparatus I was telling you. So one side has in and one side has out, okay? And the buttons are offset. One's a little closer than the other. I'm assuming that's the way you can kind of identify it just by reaching up and feeling of it. I'm not sure I'll leave the mounting bracket in this location. I don't know if I can even change it, but I'll play with it. It's got alternate bolt holes, so we'll see. That's going to be the air or the water separator and oiler. Looks like they send you some tubing for the airlines. I hope this is long enough. The video that I saw that inspired me to do this, he was a little bit short on tubing, so I may have to purchase a little extra tubing. Looks like the bolt kit to put everything together on. Got a little muffler here for whenever you engage it. It's pretty loud. That'll quieten it down quite a bit. A couple of zip ties. Should be all the mounting hardware. All right, so here's the main working part of the power drawbar right here. So this is the main part of the drawbar right here. And if my suspicions are correct, I'm going to have to do just like a couple other people have done. I want to be able to read this, and for whatever reason, the way that this mounts on our milling machines, this plate's on backwards. That's how I'd be looking at it. So the first thing I'll do is I'll change this plate around to where it fits my mill. Okay, so I went ahead and took the drawbar that came with the TorqueRite and installed it into my milling machine. I did a test fit on it just now. The drawbar seems to work fine. I went ahead and used my keyless chuck as a test piece, and I tightened it down. It drawed it tight. I didn't feel any binding. It didn't bottom out, and honestly that was my concern because these threads are about a 1/4 inch longer than what I've got. So I was concerned with that, but apparently those guys got it figured out. So what I'm going to do is Then I'm going to put just a touch of lubricant on this where the bushing is. Just a little bit right here, just to kind of help hold it in while I install it. I am going to have to change the base plate around, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so the first thing we'll do, this just slides right in, and I'm really impressed with the fitment of it. Fits right in there. I have no idea of the height in here and all that. I really don't know completely how it works, but so far so good. I was afraid of that. So the bolts they sent me are about 3/8 too long. So I'm gonna have to do a little machine work on that to get the bolts to fit correctly. They're just way too long. And the other bolts they sent are the wrong thread size. So I'll tend to that, and I'll move on from there. Okay, for you guys that watched the video of the Z axis that I did, the power feed, I complained a lot about the fasteners and some other stuff. Well, believe it or not, the bolts that they sent me for that product are just the right length for this project. You get lucky every now and then, I guess. Okay, that was fairly straightforward. So I've got the unit bolted on now. I guess what I need to do next is figure out when I'm going to put this water separator and oiler. Alright, so I've decided where I'm going to mount the on or the in-out air button switchy thingy. I'm going to mount it on the left-hand side of the machine on the same mounting block that my gear selector for my boring bar is. The problem is, as I suspected, the little bolts that came out of my machine are way too short, and I've only got one bolt that came with the kit that is the same thread. So what I've done, what I chose to do, is I've got some, I think these are 1032 screws, machine screws. I cut the heads off of them and put a flat in the end of it. That way I could make kind of like a little stud kit. So this will screw into the machine, and then I'll be able to screw these washers on it, or these nuts rather, like that, and secure it. So I'll put the slot in there so I can use a flathead screwdriver to screw them all the way in. So I'll get that put in, and I'll bring the camera back around and show you guys. Okay, you can see how I mounted mine. This is the gear selector for my boring bar, and as small of a footprint as this is, I don't really think that's going to be a bother. The hoses will clear, and I don't use very many more than the settings that it's on anyway, and it's not going to be hard to change the settings. So I'm going to roll with that for now. I don't want to drill any extra holes in my machine. I don't have to. But anyway, that's it mounted. You can see how I did mine. Alright, so So I got the air regulator mounted. I'm going to take the camera over there here in just a second and show you guys where I did it. But first I'm going to go ahead and put the oil in the little oiler. I'm not going to go all the way to the max line because it's pretty high and I can't really see it that well. So I'm probably 2/3 up to the top. But anyway, I'll take this over here, put it in, and then I'll bring the camera over and show you how I mounted mine. So I mounted mine on the head assembly because I want all these hoses as short as I can get them, number one. Plus I didn't want this anywhere on a moving part that would stretch out the hoses or any of that. But this is where the air will go in. This is my regulator. I like this gauge on here. I can tell how much air pressure I'm running in it, and somewhere between 60 and 80 from what I understand. But we'll play with that here in a little bit. For now, I'm going to go ahead and get the hosing and start running the hoses. Okay guys, you can see I got it mounted up here, and per the instructions, what you want to do is lower the head or your quill about 2 inches, and you want to rotate the oiler to the number 9, that's the highest level on it, and you want to give it some short bursts until you see the oil dripping back down in the reservoir. What that does is it primes the little air motor up top and gets it all lubricated for the initial run, and then you want to back that back down to 2 once you know that you've got it primed. So this is the in button and this is the out button. So I'll go ahead and raise it back up. Coil's all the way back up to the top. Let me adjust the camera and I'll demonstrate how this works. I'll just put my keyless chuck in. So basically you just hold it up there, up against the stop, and hit in. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now to take it out, this is very important that you lock the quill. So if you don't, it's going to push the quill down and it's not going to unscrew it. So with the quill locked in that position, we'll go ahead and hit the out button. It comes out. You may have to play with your air pressures a little bit. I was wrong. It's not 60 to 80. They want you to set it at 90 psi. But I found at 90 psi that locked in my collet a little more than I wanted, because the little air motor had problems unseating it because it's tapered fit. But at any rate, and it takes some getting used to how much thumb pressure you put on the switch and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, there you have it. So I'll do a quick pan around of how everything on my mill is set up, so you guys can get an idea of how I ran the hoses and all of that kind of business. So you can see where I mounted my air switch. I mounted it right here by my switch setting for my boring bar. I just used some studs and some nuts. The air hoses, they mount here. That's another thing. The in air hose is on the left. It's also the left-hand side on the air motor. And the out obviously would be on the right. So you can see how I mounted I mounted my regulator, and actually I'm a little bit low. I'm going to turn it up right to about there. That seems to be working pretty good for mine. Okay, and then up top you can see the little muffler installed in the back of the air motor, and both lines go into that. That was the shortest route I could find to run all of the air hoses, and this moves out of the way. That's just a switch for my flood coolant, and it's on a magnetic base, just on, off. I had a good buddy of mine make me this hand wheel because I have the Z, or the Quill Z readout. The handle was too short, so I had him, shout out to Justin Terrell, awesome guy, printed this up for me. It works fantastic. It's just a super long hand wheel that worked great. This side of my mill, you can see I've got my DRO set up on this side. I do have the knee Z axis here. It's a pretty nice setup. I like it. Down, up, rapid feed. You got to be careful with this though. If you leave that locked in, the little spring that they sent with it's not enough to push it out. So I'll be changing that spring to a little heavier spring. Then I've got my power feed for my table. I've got my stop set at max travel, as well as the stop set max travel. Can't really see that good, the lighting's horrible. But there's my elevation, and that's the lower elevation there. That's a little bit tighter than I want it to be. But at any rate, they didn't send this part, the track, whenever I got my power feed, so I had to order that, and the one they did send me was the wrong size, so I had to machine new T-nuts. Yeah, go figure, right? Other than that, I really haven't done much to the machine. I use it quite a bit. I've got a couple little add-ons, a little quick stop for my quill. I really like that. I made a new knob for the handle. I like that. I use my ball turning attachment. That's in another video if you want to see that. But anyway, and then my my coolant, I built this myself. It's all magnetic base, so I can put it anywhere I want. You just turn this switch on right here, and then the coolant comes out, of course, there. Fantastic system. I love having having that type of a coolant system. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you got something out of it. I'll probably go back to doing lives at some point. I wanted to do this live. In fact, I may actually take some of this back apart just so I can do a live and show you now that I've got all the machine work done, and it didn't take me 4 days to do it like it did the Z power feed. But at any rate, hit that like button, subscribe if you hadn't, check out some of my other videos. You may get something out of it. I try to do the best I can explaining what I'm doing while I'm doing it, but I tell you, when you get out here and you get to going, it's hard to keep up with the camera and what you're doing and all that. But at any rate, it's been my pleasure. I'll see you guys in the next video. Roll Tide.